learning, probably still building our knowledge on...
But moving into...
Yeah, but still, we're kind of moving into making meaning, but we're still building our knowledge on how to do kind of the basic things on pivot.
Fine out and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
What do you reckon you're doing to make meaning?
Well, what we've been doing lately, we have been kind of analysing different footages of pivot, and we've been kind of looking at how to do it. So,
Analysing.
One of our weaknesses is we can't get them to run properly. It's really annoying. So we've been kind of looking at different footages of how to actually
the actual pivot people doing it.
Yeah.
Who haven't been teaching for very long, sometimes I think we save kids too quickly, and we think that one solution or one idea or possibility is enough, and I actually think we need to ideate and we need to cause confusion. And I love it now when I see teachers saying, "Are you in the pit?" to the kids, "Are you in the pit? You're in the pit. I'll see you tomorrow, see how many solutions you can come up with." And I think that's a really healthy thing to get our kids really thinking outside the box.
So we started off with the Solo taxonomy, and are you familiar with that? You are? Okay. So we've put it in Selwyn words. So we look at things like standing, surfing and soaring, if you are, for achieved merit and excellence, because our achievement standards are graded, achieved merit and excellence here, and the words that go with them, and what it actually means, and you've got your extended abstract thinking here, your relational thinking, and those words are in the NZQA exemplars as well, in what we need to do for achievement standards. So moving on from that, we then develop what we call Cellwise, which is our toolkit for learning, and we have this wonderful, you'll see this around the school, this wonderful kite surfing, and we say, like, if you're kite surfing, there's things you can do. First of all, you just stand up on the board, or you fall off and wipe out, or you start surfing, or when you start doing the jumping, you're soaring. So any of those places where our students might be in their learning at the time, and it's the students then learn to identify where am I in my learning process, and what's my next step. If I'm surfing, what's my next step?
Because they had to teach their parents the whole cell wave, which is up there, the define, explore, process, create, etc., etc. And a lot of the parents said they didn't even know what that was. But after that evening, getting the kids to teach their parents what it was, they said, wow, we actually can see how our child is learning at school in all of their subjects. Yeah.
Help students. In what way does it help? It could help structure their work, and they can become independent in their work, in their learning. They can have control over their learning instead of relying on teachers all the time. They can be independent in their learning.
Were you here in this school when the change came?
Yes.
How did you feel it?
I thought, well, it was foreign. It was totally different. But when the change came and they brought Cellwise and Cellwave, it really helped. Yeah.
So the teachers are good at it.
Yeah. It really benefit teachers as well, so they can know how to help the students succeed.
Do you get more on one-to-one teacher time?
Yeah, more individual work. Yeah.
That must mean that at some point in time you are left alone doing your work without a teacher.
Left alone, with the Cellwise and Cellwave, you'll be able to work alone and not always rely on the teacher, because you have your own control of your work and you know what you're doing.
Then James. Okay, you 12, come and have a seat.
I can define, calculate, and now identify which is a satisfactory ratio. And we started covering a bit of the meaning as well.
So some of our higher level thinkers might actually be able to do the bottom two questions themselves. Do you think you could do that?
At a basic level maybe, but not fully, so I can say that I'm surfing standing.
Yeah, so you could probably do this yourself, but not at this level.
No.
Not with your justification.
The other thing we did a lot was share John Hattie's research, because you can't question the research. So the teachers who have always done things the same way and it's always worked for them, you know, when you come from a research basis, people usually can't say that their way's better because they've always done it the same way. So we've done a lot of work on the research. The other thing we've done is on our strategic plan, the school strategic plan, all the visible learning stuff is part of it, and the staff get consulted on the strategic plan, and they feed into it, and so there's a bit more buy-in. We have had a few teachers leave because this isn't what they wanted. They were comfortable with what they'd done, and so they've gone to schools that are a little bit more maybe traditional, and carry on doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But
How often do your teachers meet? How often do you have meetings talking about, you know, learning strategies or pedagogics or progression? Or
we have a staff meeting once a week on a Tuesday.
Yeah?
And
For how long?
For an hour to an hour and a half, and those are all professional learning related. So it used to be very administrative, you know, the duty roster, and then you do this and the buses, and we've completely let all that go so that during those sessions it's all professional development. So we had one last night actually. This week we have two because it's a busy week. Last night we had one on maths. And we got someone in and she ran a session. Tonight
for the maths teachers, not for everyone.
For everybody.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
And then we've got one tonight on e-learning, so on how to use digital devices in your math program, but also in other areas, but it's sort of kind of, we're focusing on maths a little bit at the moment. Then each team, so there's teams of 3 or 4 teachers that are together, they meet once a week. And they meet to plan together. They talk about different kids. They talk about behaviour if it's, you know, someone's not working out, you know, things aren't working out well for them. So they talk a lot around that stuff. We've set an agenda template that all the teams share, and we've made sure that we've put some of those crucial things. So you talk about assessments, you talk about planning, you talk about sharing resources together, you talk about pedagogy. And so that they can kind of look through and go, if it's an imbalanced agenda after a month, they know what areas they need to meet about.
By whatever their strengths and weaknesses are, or just from looking in their books as well. Then I'll group them into based on their needs for writing. So like I might have a group that's working on spelling, or a group that's working on sentence structure. So this child was in a group working on sentence structure because I identified that from their tests and from their books and from their Google writing documents as well. And so for like a 5-week block, every time I see that group, they're always focusing on sentence structure. And then I'll give them a copy of that rubric, and it gives them, and I'll show them exemplars of what it looks like at each of these levels, so it means that they can see what they're sort of aiming for as well. So like we'll get some of the ASTIL generic exemplars. This comes as part of the ASTIL tool. So there's like generic writing pieces, and it has here what they're marking, what they've given it when they've marked it. So it means that I can say to the student who's learning about sentence structure, read this, here's an example of an R4, a rubric 4 for sentence structure. And the reason that they've given it is this. Or sometimes I might show them a piece of writing and say, right, let's have a read of this. What sentence structure level do you think it would be, and why do you think it would be there?
So we're going to teach the rest of our group problem solving. So in maths, so yeah.
We kind of haven't finished yet, but
Yeah, we've just started.
we've got the learning intention, and then we've got what is problem solving, and then we've got a worksheet here. So you need to like try to do this problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And you'll teach the other children?
We'll teach the other children who are around our level and our group.
Okay.